complaint filed in U.S. District Court Southern, the city, that's the SDNY. Oof, 157 pages. Jeezy Pete's. Okay, for 16 years, Dixon served as Fat Joe's so-called hype man. Right. He also contributed as a lyricist and background vocalist on such hits as Congratulations, Ice Cream, and Money Over Bitches. Okay. Tyrone Blackburn. Okay. Dixon states in the complaint that Fat Joe forced him into humiliating situations, including sex acts performed under duress and surveillance, accompanied by threats of abandonment in foreign countries if he refused compliance. By his own estimation, Dixon states that in the suit that he was coerced into more than 4,000 sexual acts to maintain his standing within the enterprise. The suit claims that Dixon personally witnessed Fat Joe engage in sexual relations with children who were 15 and 16 years old, and lists 3 such Jane Does, including a 16-year-old Dominican girl in New York who, in exchange for cash, clothing, and payment of her cell phone bill, would perform oral sex and other sexual acts on the rapper. Minor Doe 2 is a Caucasian female and not a United States citizen. Fat Joe began having sexual relations with Minor Doe 2 when she was 15 years old after a concert overseas. Defendant flew Minor Doe 2 to New York City and Miami, Florida on multiple occasions. Due to Minor Doe's body being adolescent and not fully formed, defendant paid for her to get a Brazilian butt lift. Minor Doe 2 eventually left the defendant and is now married to a professional athlete. Oh no. Minor Doe 3 is a Latina female who met the defendant when she was 15 years old, turning 16. According to Dixon, the defendant was in love with Minor Doe 3. He even contemplated leaving his wife. The defendant paid all Minor Doe 3's bills and even took her overseas to his tour stops. He brought her to Florida and would put her up in a condo he rented a few blocks from his house with his wife. In a recorded conversation, oh no, Minor Doe 3 and her 15-year-old cousin describe in detail to plaintiff how inappropriate it was for defendant, who was in his late 30s at the time, to be fawning over children. Oh no. Fat Joe is represented by celebrity Joe Tacopina. That's a big dog. This is one that got Rocky out of his case. Represented by Joe Tacopina. Joe says the lawsuit filed by Tyrone Blackburn and Terrence Dixon is a blatant act of retaliation, a desperate attempt to deflect attention from the civil suit we filed first, which exposed their coordinated scheme to extort Mr. Cartagena through lies, threats, and manufactured allegations. Law enforcement is aware of the extortionate demand at the heart of this scheme. The allegations against Mr. Cartagena are completely fabrications, lies intended to damage his reputation and force a settlement through public pressure. Mr. Cartagena will not be intimidated. We have taken legal action to expose this fraudulent campaign and hold everyone involved accountable. Defendants in the suit also include Pistol Pete, a rich player, which refers to as key associates in Fat Joe's criminal enterprise, asserting civil claims for violating the RICO. Oh no, you're trying to get the feds involved. Oh no, this is nasty. So by him saying all this, he's hoping to tempt the feds to look at this as a RICO. Wow. Look at this. The suit additionally names Jay-Z's Roc Nation, claiming that the company, which represents Fat Joe, knowingly participated in concealing, transferring, and manipulating Dixon's authorship rights and royalty interests, and sought to intimidate, harass, and obstruct the hype man's legitimate claims against Fat Joe, Torres, and Hospiter. According to the lawsuit, the defendants engaged in deliberate tax fraud schemes. Now, mind you, Joe did do federal time for tax evasion, so there might be something there, right? In an effort to conceal their extensive wage theft, artificially inflate Dixon's tax liabilities, expose him to unwarranted tax audits and penalties, and systemically obscure the exploited labor. The complaint cites a whistleblower accountant who came forward last year, as well as recorded phone calls that helped paint the picture of the alleged misdeeds. The move comes after Fat Joe sued Dixon in April for slandering him on social media by claiming that the Bronx-born rapper, who enjoys high-level political connections, flew a 16-year-old girl across state lines for sex. That suit also named Dixon's lawyer Tyrone Blackburn, claiming the pair tried to shake him down for a settlement. This is the right way to fight Joe, through the system. You can't fight him no other way. Joe thinks he's a god. Joe thinks he's untouchable. Oh no. Dixon's suit against Fat Joe goes much further than his social media posts and states that he endured a wide spectrum of sexual coercion, psychological control, forced exhibitionism, and surveillance-based humiliation, including being compelled to perform sex acts under observation, being filmed or directed by Fat Joe in the presence of others. Tactics designed to control plaintiff's body, erode his autonomy, and ensure silence. These sex-based abuses were not private, incidental, or isolated. They were integral to the enterprise's culture of dominance and humiliation, enforced by defendants' associates such as Pistol Pete, JB, and others, and sustained across numerous tour locations, including Miami, North Carolina, Germany, Spain, and Wisconsin. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no, no. In Thursday's complaint, Dixon claims that the activity took place on Market America's corporate yacht and at mansions parties where Fat Joe orchestrated repeated orgies involving plaintiff, female dancers, and minors. The defendant used the lawsuit as that Fat Joe used his status as a hip-hop star to compel Dixon and others into degrading sexual performances, often while Fat Joe watched, recorded, or directed the encounters. These incidents occurred under conditions that included the presence of corporate security staff, surveillance cameras, and defendant's management entourage, yet no intervention occurred, supporting the inference that these acts were facilitated by and covered up by the broader enterprise and its affiliates. Dixon did not willingly consent to participate in these acts. Instead, the plaintiff submitted solely out of fear of immediate retaliation, which the defendant repeatedly demonstrated would include financial punishment, professional sabotage, abandonment in foreign countries, or physical harm. Oh no. The suit also claims that Fat Joe also issued veiled death threats and witness intimidation via direct messages such as, "You love your family, right? Fall back in 48 hours and we'll let you live." Oh. Okay, there was at least one brush with the scandal back in 2010. He and members of his entourage were detained and questioned after a University of Wisconsin student reported an alleged sexual assault following a performance at the city's Orpheum Theater. At the time, Fat Joe's attorney called the woman a pretender groupie who was attempting to shake down the rapper for money. Where there's smoke, there's fire. The tax thing has my ears perked because he did do time in the feds for tax evasion. Wow. What say y'all, man? God damn. God damn. Shit. Shit, if you listen, listen to me. You record anything with these women, y'all be careful out here. It might be used against you. Like, he recorded me against my consent. Without my consent. You're gonna have to record these women saying, "Hey, say this. Yes, I consent to this recording. It was my idea. I told him to record us." I mean, you're gonna have to start getting motherfuckers to say that shit. This is crazy as hell. Hey man, take it with a grain of salt, y'all. Grain of salt.